Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast. It's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic. You can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com. Or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
Anytime, Joey.
Yeah.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
You can all go fuck yourselves.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does suck tonight.
Sorry, Joey. I couldn't resist. After like the 5 seconds of silence, I had to jump in.
Holy technical difficulties, Batman. Jesus fuck.
Well,
you know what it is? I'm just not used to having so many people on at the same time.
Well, between that,
I'm just out of my element, I guess.
Well, that and live stream and Stratocaster, whatever the hell it is, and Windows 8, it's just a nightmare.
Yes, it is. Anyway, all right. Welcome to Moviesucktastic, everybody. Little technical difficulties, but we are here and we are live. I'm going to be doing a little editing for this podcast, something I haven't done in probably a year.
Good to keep in practice.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, we have two special guests on with us tonight. We have Wes Anderson and we have Tyler Thurgood. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Now, Scott.
Yes.
How do we start this?
Well, this episode is about The Hobbit. We're going to be reviewing The Hobbit, and after that we're going to be taking a look at the just today announced nominations for the 2012 Oscars.
Well, it's the 85th annual Academy Awards.
Yeah, it's for 2012, but it's in 2013. Whatever. It's the newest Oscars.
It's the awards for the 2012 films.
Correct.
It'll happen in 2013. Yes.
Right, and so Wes and Tyler are going to be reviewing The Hobbit with us, some guest reviewers.
Now, one of Wes's films was nominated for Best Original Screenplay today, Moonrise Kingdom.
Now, of course, we have to have a disclaimer at this point, and I've caused a major stir. In one of my classes recently, I'm what you would call for our new listeners an unconventional student, and in more ways than one.
It's because you're twice the age of every student in the class?
Not every. I've never been the oldest person in the class.
Never?
No, because I'm in
Always-
it's
Always one of?
No, I've never been the oldest in the class. Community college, there's a lot of older people taking classes still. So anyway, you're diverting from the point. One of the classmates is Weston Anderson, and so I told him, hey, dude, come on the show, review The Hobbit for us, and I can bill you as Wes Anderson, and we can get a lot of unnecessary internet traffic from people who believe it's the real person.
Ah.
So
good
they
idea.
Right, so it's sly, underhanded, and whorish, and I figured it was a good idea.
Well,
Then-
you know what? We won't be the first whores doing it, so...
No, I won't be the last. And so I also
Certainly
Tyler,
not.
who's the co-editor with me on this year's Ars Poetica literary magazine. He told me he'd seen The Hobbit, so I invited him on as well, and happened to mention jokingly that Wes Anderson would be on the show. And my erroneous assumption was that since Tyler was also in the same class with young Weston, that he would get the joke. And he did not, and he proceeded to become very excited and call people near and far, telling them that he was going to be talking to Wes Anderson on a podcast. And I pretty much...
And I will tell you why Tyler believed you.
And then I had to...
Hold on.
Break his heart.
I will tell you why Tyler believed you. Because he trusts you. Because you were supposed to be his friend. And what did you do? You lied to him.
It
You were supposed to gain the trust of your peers, and what did you do? You lied to him.
It was a good-natured fib that I assumed he'd be figure out very quickly, and I was wrong.
Now, Scott tried to do this with me about a month ago, but of course, knowing him nearly half of my life, I caught on to his ruse very quickly.
Also because you realized, how the fuck is Scott going to get Wes Anderson on their podcast?
There's that.
This is also true. This is also very true.
I thought this was some famous podcast, and it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, you think too much. You have to think much less with this podcast.
It's vaguely popular.
It is. Hey, we got the bandwidth to prove it. So
Sure.
But anyway,
And
this episode we're also going to be reviewing the newly released Peter Jackson film, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. Now, I'm sure everyone has all their opinions based on that. So what do you want to do first? Do you want to do the Hobbit review first and then move on to the Oscar nominations?
We'll do The Hobbit first, because the deal was I invited Wes and Tyler on for The Hobbit. So if they don't want to stick around after that, they can cut out, especially if they're still angry with me.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will be.
Yeah, I'm just very upset that we're starting with that story because I'm upset, and now I'm just upset again.
See what you're doing, Scott?
Well, Tyler would have
again. Let me reiterate: gain the trust of your peers.
Then break
You're supposed.
Tyler, I'm sorry I'm not famous enough.
It's okay, Wes. I love your voice.
Yeah, wait a minute. It's not my fault. It's Wes's fault.
Wow. In therapy, we would say that is called passing the buck of blame.
I don't think that's a technical term.
I just made it up.
I gotta defend
I just made it up. It is now.
Even though Scott really hurt me today, I gotta defend him. In all the text messages and communication we had today, he used the words wisely. He would just say, "Yes, he is." He never said the famous director's coming, but he really let me believe it.
That's what Scott will do. He'll raise up your hopes and then crush them.
Oh,
Not
God.
fair. Not fair. Now, in my defense, too, one of his texts actually said, "Is it the real Wes Anderson or Weston from Class? Ha ha." And I thought, oh, he gets it. And so I didn't bother to say, obviously.
Yeah, he didn't answer.
Which I thought was the answer enough.
Oh.
Did I say I was sorry, Tyler?
Sorry, they don't have a word for what you are.
I know. Just
Okay.
there's a curb with
Let's
my name
move
on
on.
it somewhere.
Scott's done enough damage, so let's move on.
Yeah, let's talk about how much Scott loves Peter Jackson.
Yes.
We could spend hours on how much Scott truly used to love Peter Jackson. Both Scott and I grew up with the Peter Jackson that many people don't know much about. Most people do know about Peter Jackson in the Lord of the Rings phase, or even maybe closer that, in like The Frighteners and maybe even Dead Alive. But Scott and I really know the old Peter Jackson, the one that we grew up with, the one that we absolutely loved. And, even after Lord of the Rings, we still really liked Peter Jackson until he went and did King Kong and then went and did The Lovely Bones. And then we just had this distaste with him. I think Scott more than me, but I definitely was aggravated and pissed off myself. I think you're going to hear, between Scott and I anyway, 2 different reviews for The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. I did have some issues with it, but I'm sure Scott is just going to spit pure hatred and just vinegar.
Now, see, that's not fair.
I think it is fair.
But I would like to cede the floor to our guest reviewers and let them take the first stab at just giving like a brief synopsis of the film and giving their own review of it and what they thought initially, and then we can go into the back and forth.
Okay. Anyone want to go first with that? Since Scott has put everyone on the spot, or I should say, our guests on the spot, who probably don't do podcasts as often as we do. Scott seems to do that to every guest that we have. Here, do what we do. Go.
Yeah.
It's called letting them talk. That's I'm wacky that way. We'll tell you what. Since Wes Anderson is our headline guest for the show, he should go first.
Woohoo! All right. I haven't done one of these ever. Basically, one of these official reviews. I'll do my best.
All right. Hang on. It's not an official review. It's not official. It's just a review. So relax.
Okay.
Nothing you say is going to be dumber than whatever I say about this when we get to it. So don't worry.
We'll see about that. Anyways, my opinion of The Hobbit, regardless of Peter Jackson and his ethics, I guess you could call them, I thought it was a really enjoyable movie. The music was good, the acting was good, the story was good. Some of the costumes, like for Radagast the Brown especially, were a little iffy, personally, but maybe that's just Lord of the Rings fantasy that I didn't see. See, I read The Hobbit once, but it was a long time ago, so I don't know how accurate they got the costumes or anything like that. So.
I had a lot less problems with the costumes, as more of an issue that I had was 12 years later, special effects as far as animals and things of that nature still look like shit. I don't understand why 12 years later, with a budget that's probably twice the size, that every single animal, every single blue screen shot still look, and maybe they did it on purpose to match what they did in the first film, but I highly doubt it, just continues to look like total shit. When I forget his name, but it was the Grey Wizard, I think his name was the Grey Wizard.
Gandalf.
Not Gandalf. Yeah. The other guy, the guy that they found in the woods eating mushrooms, talking about his fucking rabbits.
Radagast.
Yeah, that's it. Radagast the Grey.
The Brown.
And what was the name of it? What?
After you, Tyler.
He's a brown wizard.
Radagast the Brown.
Yes.
The doo-doo brown. Anyway.
Joey.
He's talking about his rabbits. And, of course, his rabbits look like total CGI shit. And I bet it looks... It looked even worse in 48 frames per second. Yes, Scott, I got off topic. What?
No,
what are you going to tell
on
me
topic. I was just interjecting that there are 5 wizards if you're paying attention to the film. There's a
there
gray.
There is 5 yes.
A gray, a white, a brown,
white.
and 2 blues. Is that right,
Sounds
Tyler?
No, I never heard of the blue guys, but you're right.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, that's right. I meant to say Wes. I knew he was the Hobbit guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that, but I do know some of the backstory.
You probably know more than Joey and I. Put it that way.
Well, I have read The Hobbit a couple of times, but it has been years since I've revisited it.
Really? Okay.
One thing that I wanted to do was actually reread it, or even cheat a little and listen to it on audiobook before this, so that I could compare the two, and I just didn't have time to do it. But I do remember enough of the book to know that they did get a lot of things from the book in the film. The biggest problem that I have with The Hobbit is the fact that they're cutting it into 3 parts, and I've talked about this a few times on the show.
Yeah.
And not to get into it in great detail. I just think that this
Small
could have been
detail.
made into one film, or at the very, very most, to stretch it into two. I would have been okay with two. I was okay with two. Now that it's three, watching this movie, as enjoyable as it was, as much as I did like it, I could definitely feel the filler. I can feel how scenes are going on longer than they should. I can feel how battle scenes are going on longer than they should, how dialogue scenes are going on longer than they should, etc. And just based on that alone, it just aggravates me more that I know that there's two more films coming.
Can I start my review off of that? Tangent off of that?
Sure.
Oh, by
Go
all
right
means.
ahead.
Yeah, because I had the same feeling going in. I was like, what the heck? How are they making one little book into 3 movies? But I actually picked up The Hobbit right after seeing the movie because I had a good time in the theater. And, The Hobbit kind of moves real quick through the perspective of Bilbo with a little bit of Gandalf and goes in. And I really like that. Like, I agree with filler. I agree that there's some stretched out scenes. But they got this world. Peter Jackson created the Middle Earth that all these fans love so much. And they're stretching out all the background material, all this. So that's what allows The Hobbit, one book, to become 3
movies.
I would like 2 better, but
With that said,
Mhm.
think of if they did that with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, you'd have 9 movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
No one's as much as of a fan of the 3 books as I am of that trilogy. There's no way I'm watching 9 movies. There's no way I'm watching 27 hours of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And that's the
All
thing,
right,
though.
it's
This is
just-
almost like never been done where one book turns into 3 movies. Like, it made sense, 3 books, 3 movies with Lord of the Rings. Like, this
Right.
is kind of a first time.
Each
Well, there-
book from the Lord of the Rings trilogy is roughly the same size as The Hobbit, give or take, a few
Yeah.
pages. And each book was one movie. And they did a damn good job at transferring that. So I know they could have done the same thing with this.
They're doing
Absolutely.
they're doing the same thing with Atlas Shrugged, but of course that book is thousands of pages long, so that makes
Well, I
a bit
can
more
understand
sense.
that.
I still can't understand that, but that's at least page-wise it makes sense.
One might be optimistic and say that maybe with 3 movies they want to fit as much from the book as possible into it, but at the same time you could also say that Peter Jackson just wanted to split the movies up to rake in more cash.
Well, that's absolutely true, because
definitely.
if you break it down, and I've said this before on the show as well, 2 movies equals roughly anywhere from 2 to 2.5 billion. 3 movies, anywhere from 3.5 to 4 billion. And in that meeting that they're all sitting at this beautiful mahogany table, nice and shiny, and they got their paperwork going out, and Peter Jackson says, listen, here are the numbers. We can do 2. I like 2. The film is finished. Everything is great. But if we make one more, we can make an extra $1 billion. And who's not going to say yes to that?
Exactly.
Exactly. So, and I really did like The Hobbit. I liked the film. If you're a fan of what Peter Jackson did with the original 3, you will absolutely walk out of this movie enjoying what you saw, because everything that he did in that first 3 films, he mimicked perfectly in this, and in some ways, in some areas, did a better job because he'd already done it before.
My thoughts too.
So,
yeah.
Exactly. So, in my opinion, yeah, it still pisses me off that it's being cut into 3. You can definitely feel that why, some scenes they extended, but in the end, I have to admit, I did enjoy the film. I enjoyed it a lot. So, I was happy that it wasn't nominated for Best Picture or any other Oscar for that matter. I was happy about that because I don't think it deserved a Best Picture nomination. If anything deserved a Best Picture nomination, it would have been The Dark Knight Rises. Yet, Life of Pi is the one that everyone is creaming over, and Lincoln.
Yeah.
So, and again this year they only did 9, not 10 nominations.
That's because they're jackasses.
Well, that's because they're all excuses that there wasn't enough votes for a 10th nom.
There weren't. Never mind. I'm not getting that argument right now.
We'll talk about it when we get to it.
Yeah. Now, Tyler, did you have anything else to add as far as like any negative aspects of the film, things that you thought didn't work well?
Well, while I was watching it, one thing I kind of noticed is like, and I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. At first, I didn't like it, but the music I felt was like repetitive from Lord of the Rings, and I wasn't sure if that was a good move or a bad move because it had that familiar feel. But I heard some straight same soundtrack from Lord of the Rings. That
They did have some new stuff though.
It is new. It just has the same feel.
No, they did reuse a lot of the music from the original 3 films, but they did have a lot of new music too.
Yeah.
That maybe you didn't notice because your attention might have been drawn to the music that they rehashed.
Oh yes,
and
I definitely know there was new music, but that rehashed music affected me.
Well, here's the thing: you got to look at it in their perspective. You change the music 100% when they're in the Shire. You watch those first 3 films. If you're watching the extended cuts too, they're over 4 hours almost for each one. But if they're in the Shire, there is specific music for when they're in the Shire. So when they're in the Shire in this, they're gonna reuse that music to get you to get that you remembering what you felt from the first one. And nobody, as much as you might think, I don't think a lot of people would like different music for things like that.
I was hoping for a little hip hop.
I bet you were.
I were Django then.
Little
yeah.
I would have preferred.
But no, I didn't mind that they reused some of the music because I think there is that feel to it, that you do want. The one thing that I did notice that, and maybe it's because Ian McKellen is getting older, but he definitely looked much older in this than he did in the 3 original films. Now, where I'm going with that is, of course, this is 60 years earlier, yet not only did he look older, he had more bags under his eyes, but he even portrayed himself, acted older, like when he talked and when he moved. He just felt like a much older person, the way he portrayed Gandalf in this film than he did in the Lord of the Rings films that were taking place 60 years later. Now, that's a little nitpick, so I'm not going to go too crazy with it, but it's just a little thing that I did notice.
I noticed that at first, and I sort of picked up on it, and I thought, well, there's nothing much you can do, but maybe it was just my lack of attention when my mind was moving on to other parts of the movie. But it started to even itself out. I thought, I didn't notice it as much.
No, you're right. But when Gandalf first starts talking, and he is even almost shaking a bit when he talks, I'm like, Jesus, what's going on here?
Okay.
What?
Yeah. Gandalf maybe had a little bit more hair to cover up his older face, but are we forgetting Saruman, who pretty much didn't move because he's so old and brittle now, as like the 98-year-old Christopher Lee?
Exactly. In Christopher Lee's defense, the man was in his late 80s when he did, his early 80s when he did the original Lord of the Rings trilogy.
I'm not picking on Christopher Lee. I'm just saying if you're going to talk about somebody appearing older than in the original film, they couldn't even move him. He was just like, all right, Chris, stand over there, and then later, we're going to have you sit over here, okay?
And he's like, I need to take my pills at 6. As long as we don't overshoot, I'll be fine. But yeah, that's forgivable. But you know what? Oh, now that you mentioned things that look different, what about Frodo?
Frodo hasn't aged.
But Elijah Wood's, his face, his body structure, and his voice are a lot different than the first 3 films. And I don't know if it was just that he was like a last minute addition to the movie, because the scene with him and Bilbo didn't even have to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it definitely seemed like his voice, everything. And again, that scene that's happening in the film, if I'm not mistaken, that is supposed to be the birthday party for Bilbo Baggins from Fellowship of the Ring.
A couple days before the birthday party, maybe?
Am I mistaken in that?
Is a little bit before the birthday when he started writing. It was right when he started writing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because he Frodo tells Bilbo that he's going to go meet Gandalf, and then he did that in Fellowship.
It's the flashback in the flashback film before the other flashback that explains the flash forward of this flashback series. And
Good
I have
point,
to say, now, everybody's assuming I'm going to be shitting on the film, and I'll tell you, for the first half hour or so, I was shitting on this film because first we have this needless introduction. Because, okay, we understand this from the, it's a prequel. We don't need all these characters explaining it. We don't need 12 hours of voiceover before we even have the credit Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey, and I don't need 20 minutes of dwarves eating before we get to any discussion of plot.
But in the defense of that, that's
and-
all in the book. They
Don't
made
care.
a very big debacle about the arrival and the eating and just wiping Bilbo Baggins, his whole stock of food and wine and just everything out. They
And
made a
we're
whole
there.
point of that in the book, and it's fun to watch. And I know you're shitting on it, and
I'm not. I'm trying to get
and I
more
can
than
understand. Well, you just said the first half hour you're shitting on. That's the first half hour.
You're going to say, Tyler?
Oh,
Go ahead.
and the cleaning the dishes scene sets up that amazing agility of the dwarves. Because later in the movie, they're making moves that are just impossible.
That's right. They're like little ninjas.
Yeah, and between the dish juggling and the two dwarf boy band musical numbers,
Oh,
I don't care if it was in
Oh.
the book. Doesn't work in the film for me. It
Well,
dragged me down.
It is in the book, and there was a lot more songs in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy that weren't in the films at all.
I
There
know.
was
and
one
I'm
song in Return of the
grateful
King,
for that.
and Pippin sang that. That was it.
No, I'm very grateful
And
for that too.
well, I think they wanted to incorporate a little bit more music into this one, and I think they did very tastefully.
yes.
Yeah, I for book to movie accuracy, I'm going to contradict Scott here. I actually did like how they added the music into it. Because, this is just like in the book where all the dwarves were singing their folksy songs.
Right.
It's just
And,
too
and
slow.
much like in the first Fellowship of the Ring, the book and the film, the book has Tom Bombadil. They decided to take him out of the movie Fellowship of the Ring, and it was a smart move because that was, even though that's where they got their weapons, and then Aragorn gives them their weapons later. Strider, I should say.
Yeah.
That's where they got their weapons initially. There's a lot of singing, there's a lot of dancing. His wife's in the fucking fields twirling around and all that kind of shit. They got rid of it. Smart move. In this, like I said before, and I think everyone agreed, music tastefully done, like that it was in there.
Yes.
Well, Scott doesn't agree.
I do not.
That's okay.
No.
Scott's
Yeah.
allowed to disagree.
Everyone means everyone but Scott.
Every single person but Scott.
An important part about that, especially the earlier song in both the book and the movie, is the song, even lyrically, is like it's their storytelling of their oral history. It tells
Yeah,
like the
they're
whole
talking
story
about
to Bilbo.
the Misty Mountains.
I don't mind that one as much as I mind the dish juggling one. These are the things that Bilbo doesn't like. Whatever the hell that was.
Stop. But
Well, yeah, actually,
the
the
Misty
worst-
Mountain song,
Hank-
Led Zeppelin has a song called Misty Mountain Hop, and Led Zeppelin did a lot of songs based on the Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, or I should say the whole universe.
Okay.
Which is, if you're a Led Zeppelin fan, you know that. But
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Right.
oh my
you go.
God, yeah, my man Tyler knows it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Worse than the song, though, was when they're juggling the dishes. There's only so much CGI can do. So when Peter Jackson, the director, says, "Listen, just move jerk your arms right and left every now and then, and we'll animate a dish bouncing off of it." When you watch it on the big screen, it's wow, he's moving his arms every now and then, and they're animating a dish off it. It doesn't look at all like they're actually juggling dishes. It looks like they're pretending to juggle animated dishes. The technology has not overcome that sense of, okay, this is obviously fake. Why are they even trying?
Was that in the book?
What, the
The
juggling?
whole
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Oh, okay.
As a matter of fact, I have the animated film of The Hobbit on in the background while we talk, and it's even in that.
But they
Oh.
could have at least actually juggled some dishes and not just CGI'd the whole damn thing.
They could have.
I'd be more
But
impressed with
that's not
half-ass
gonna
juggling
happen.
as opposed to CGI'd perfect juggling.
Yeah. I
That's
suppose.
just, I'm hard to please.
You are. I should know.
We all know that.
We all
That-
know.
I got the Hobbit here in front of me, and that whole dish juggling scene gets summed up in one sentence. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Go for it.
So they sing the song about juggling dishes, and the line to do everything is, and of course they did none of these dreadful things, and everything was cleaned up and put away safe as quick as lightning, while the Hobbit was turning around and round in the middle of the kitchen trying to see what they were doing. That's it.
That's all. That's it.
Yep. And then they went back and found Thorin singing, smoking a pipe.
Now,
There you go.
I will
And since
say,
you have the book in front of you, how many pages is that book?
okay,
I remembered it being around 350.
Let's see. It is 300 on the dot. Well, I got this small print one.
It's
But
paperback.
300.
Okay, that's hey. You know what? The other trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, they're about the same size too.
now what I will say is that
Yes.
again, the first half hour, we've got the flashbacks, the voiceovers, then the whole dinner thing. By the way, Gandalf is a bit of a dick.
He's forcing him into this fucking journey because you know what? This is going to be good for you, son.
But if you look at the whole thing, Gandalf's entire journey through this film is basically throw a surprise party for Bilbo by inviting people over to his house to trash it, then sucker him into a dangerous journey where he could get killed, then wander off and wait until the very last minute to save them 3 or 4 times. He really is a bit of a dick.
He did the same thing in Fellowship of the Ring. He forced Frodo to come out on this journey.
But that was different. That was like he was actually directly involved because he had the ring. In this case, it's like, yeah, you'd make a good thief.
Bilbo still had the ring at that point.
No, he did
Bilbo
not have
could
the ring.
in Fellowship of the Ring. The fuck he didn't.
It goes. All right, stop. I'm talking about in The Hobbit.
Bilbo's just
sitting around enjoying himself, and he says, "You know what? You make a good thief. We're going to take you on this adventure you don't even belong on." At least in Lord of the Rings, there's a reason because the ring's already there. Bilbo gives it over to Frodo as far as or gives it to gives it to him.
All I'm saying is that you're right, and it's because of Gandalf in this that comes full circle. It's all fucking Gandalf's fault, is what I'm getting at.
Full
I'm
circle.
just telling you, you're right.
Dick. Yeah.
It's like I fucking did this to your uncle, and now I'm gonna do this to you because it's really all my fucking fault from the very fucking beginning.
Now, but what I will say is, the half-hour point with the eating and everything, and then the whole, I'm not going to go on your journey. Oh, yes, I will. It's really slow and bothering me. But then I started enjoying the middle part. All the fight sequences were kind of cool. You can ignore the sophomoric humor because it's actually a bit more of a lighter film. It feels like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom in a lot of ways. It's got that kid atmosphere to it, where the real Lord of the Rings were really a lot darker and more dramatic. This one had a lot of lighter tone.
Oh yeah. But at the same time, though, I want to go back to Gandalf for a second. But at the same time, going off at that point, there was you felt the undercurrent, especially when they were talking about these bad things are stirring in Middle Earth right now. You can sort of feel like, well, it's a more lighthearted movie. You know what's going to happen later if you've seen the other movies and read the other books, and you're like, well, things are getting darker and serious here. Mm-hmm. So, and I think Gandalf was a bit of a jerk, I have to say, and looking at it from that perspective, yeah, it's pretty true that he did kind of almost guilt-tripped Bilbo into going with him. But I have to say, one of my favorite scenes of him was when Thorin was being stubborn as usual, and he stormed off and he said, "I'm going to seek the company of others more agreeable to me," or something like that. And Bilbo asked who, and he's like, "Myself." That was a good kicker for me.
because the dwarf won't do exactly what Gandalf says. Well, I'm just going to go off here and pout. And then later on, oh goody, they're going to be eaten. Let me hang around a bit.
Well, in Gandalf's defense, Thorin is a racist, stubborn douchebag sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the man, he lost his mountain. What do you expect?
All right, Thorin lost more than his mountain.
His kingdom is gone.
Yeah, he lost more
overthrown
than that.
by orcs and a fucking dragon named Smaug.
It's no excuse.
Thorin's got
I'm
issues.
giving Thorin a pass. I'm giving him a pass.
You can't give Thorin a pass because he's got major issues. Okay, I understand it. You're fighting the pale orc, whatever the hell that, and you grab a random log as a shield, and you survive with that. That's good. 20, 30, 40 years later, all these guys with him, all right, you tell them to buy a real shield. I'm not going to be the one that tells them to drop the piece of wood and buy a real shield. I mean, it's there's only so long a piece of oak's going to last you in combat. It's a little wacky. He's not really glued together properly.
Yeah. Oh, another thing that reminds me. Oh, sorry to keep talking over you guys.
No, you're not. You're actually jumping in when you should. Go right ahead.
Yes.
When you talked about the pale orc, I saw it with some friends of mine, including my sister and my brother-in-law, and one of them said that the pale orc, Azog, I think his name is, he was in the book, but he did not play as prominent a part as he did in the movies. I don't know. I haven't, again, read the book in a long time, but I don't know if that was a good idea on Peter Jackson's part to make this orc, who wasn't originally supposed to be the biggest part of the big main baddie of the movie.
Well, think of it this way: 3 movies.
That's true.
You're doing 2 movies. His part much shorter. It would not seem as long as it is over 2 movies, or 1 movie, I should say. 3 movies, yeah, you're definitely gonna notice that. Hey, this fucking guy is in 2 pages of the book, and he's in 40 pages of the script. Big difference. 3 movies. That's why they did it.
They needed
now they're doing reshoots. I think they're starting because they have to obviously build sets again. And a lot of the sets are still built because they never took them apart when they decided to do a 3rd film. But think of it. There's 2 movies. Totally, the whole story is done as far as Peter Jackson was concerned until they decided to make more money. And they're doing extended editions for each one of these movies too. So just don't think of it as a 9-hour movie. Think of it as a 12-hour, 1 movie, 12 hours. That's absolutely going to happen. And they're going to be doing reshoots, I believe, in the next month or 2 to complete that 3rd film.
A 12-hour movie, that's almost as long as the first cut of Heaven's Gate.
Almost.
I still need to see that.
It's, you know what? I would love to see it just for the show, because that original cut, the original cut shown to United Artists was 5.5 hours?
At least, yeah. I think it was that.
Can you even fucking imagine watching a 5.5 hour movie in one sitting?
Or that one.
Tyler, think if you're a Universal or not a Universal, United Artists executive, and you get sat down for a 5.5 hour movie. At what point do you start getting even more and more mad?
Well, they're used to that though, because they're used to seeing the rough cuts. Tyler, you got any? Want to weigh in on the white orc?
Yeah,
pale orc.
I didn't mind him in the movie because I forgot about the book, but I'm reading it, and he's, like you said, he's like 2 pages in here. And I was like, what the heck?
all I can say is at least he was fucking cool.
Yeah. I guess.
Even though he had such a small part in the book, at least they made him fucking badass.
Yeah. I don't think he was half as cool as the Goblin King with the giant scrotum on his neck.
and his little helper guy that runs around, the little guy on the line.
The master.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought Azog was cool. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Azog's cool.
Yeah, and again, more singing I didn't need. Scene. I'm sorry, I'm not a musical fan. That counts as a musical to me. I don't care if it's from the original book or what have you. It's still Xanadu,
Stop. It is not fucking Xanadu. Stop. That is... You can tell... Everybody, you can tell Scotty's wrong. It's okay.
When you're a dwarf, you're a dwarf.
Scott only listens to Bandwidth.
That's right. And Barry Humphries is the guy that played... his name is the Great Goblin. He's the one with the scrotum on his chin, as Scott would say, who is a very respected and well-known Australian actor. If you don't know him, he played Bruce in Finding Nemo, the big shark.
Oh, cool.
And I only know that because I've seen that movie 40 times in the last month.
He didn't play Bruce. He did the voice of Bruce.
And did he
I thought he was a giant shark.
Didn't I say that?
Did he play the Goblin King?
He played the Goblin King, the Great Goblin.
Did they put the CGI balls on him, or did he just do the voice of it?
I'll look into that, and I'll let you know.
Otherwise, he didn't play the Goblin King. He did the voice of the Goblin King.
That wasn't a scrotum. That was a tumor.
What? Bring the audience down now. Okay.
Yeah, he's waiting for the results.
If it's a tumor, it's not funny. If it's a scrotum, it's funny. Let's go with the scrotum.
Okay, sorry.
What did he tell him? I bet you won't do it.
Can I need to make another point of how much of a huge dick Gandalf is.
Go for it.
So we got that part after they come out of the Gollum cave, which the Gollum scene was cool. I'll give you that. Any scene with the Gollum is cool.
Yeah.
So they retreat from the giant rats of unusual size or wolves, either one, onto the edge of the cliff. So they're up in trees on the edge of a cliff being attacked by wolves. Gandalf's great ideas. Let's throw fiery pine cones at them. It worked until it started a brush fire and it starts consuming the trees. Not a good good job there. So he whispers to a butterfly, which he's always with the butterflies in him.
A moth.
All right,
yes,
moth.
It was a moth.
Fine. It's just a white butterfly. What do you want? Are you racist?
Maybe Gandalf started the fire so the eagles would know where to find them.
So then the eagles swoop in and save the day, right?
It's a good point, Tyler. I know Scott just totally overlooked it, but that's okay.
No, I did. I let it go because I had nothing to shoot that down.
Scott will do that.
Continue, Scott.
Please continue.
I'm trying to, but you keep trying to malign me.
Just continue.
Okay. So the eagles swoop down and they grab everybody and they fly for hours and hours and hours. And all I'm thinking is at least one of these guys has to be shouting to Gandalf says, "So at what point did you think we couldn't do this from the beginning? Why did we wait until after? Why were we climbing mountain trolls and shit, mountain giants, rock giants? Why were we climbing under caves? And couldn't we have gotten these from Rivendell? Could the Eagles conceivably, Gandalf, have picked us up from the Shire and brought us here?
That's along the same lines of the whole, why couldn't they just fly to Mordor with the ring? This is the explanation I've heard. The explanation I've heard is that, for one, the giant eagles could easily be spotted by any other number of flying evil beasts, and the eagles also are apparently very proud, and so they only do favors on occasion. That's what I got from all the feedback, from things I've seen on the internet.
Eagles are
That's
so
what we
proud.
like to call excuses.
Yeah, eagles are proud. They're not too proud to eat the flesh of dead carrion. Okay. But not only that, the eagles drop them off when they finally bring them to, what's the name of the dwarf castle?
Erebor.
I
yeah.
know that. They bring them...
Aramor?
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 I think it's Erebor.
Erebor? Arborea?
Erbor.
Arborea. And so the eagles, where do they drop them? Do they drop them off at the place they're going? No. They pick the highest, rockiest, most dangerous flat surface in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Far enough away so that it's just like a speck on the horizon. So look, there it is. That's right, there it is. And there are the eagles flying away. Why the fuck are we here? And please tell me somebody grabbed my log shield while we were being disrupted.
Well, nobody goes in that area around the mountain because of the dragon. So I'm sure that's why the eagles don't go there.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think from what they described Smaug as this giant, destructive, evil, monstrous beast that could probably take on a few eagles.
And Scott, how are they going to make 2 more movies if they just drop them off at the front?
Exactly.
At the front door.
Hold on. So I'm not talking about the directors. I'm talking about Gandalf. So
It's like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle.
Hang on.
They end up on Route 1 to find White Castle.
Don't
and there's
start.
actually one the second they get on Route 1. But, of course, if that was in the movie would be 10 minutes long.
That's a parallel universe.
It's
obviously.
not. It's New Jersey.
So the Eagles aren't proud enough to take the people to the place they want to go, yet the sparrow with the fucking nut has no problems with swinging up to the castle and knocking the shit on the wall and waking up the dragon.
Well, yeah, he's just doing his fucking job.
Well, the sparrow is not easily seen. That's the thing.
The sparrow's got it fucking good. He's going to do what he's told.
And a dragon apparently is a very late sleeper. Because I know when I'm under a blanket of gold, I can't hear a sparrow with a nut to save my life.
Well, are you a dragon?
That's what I'm saying. Dragons must be very late sleepers.
He's a dragon warrior. So I guess the total consensus is that everybody liked the film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed the goblin fight sequence. I'm sorry, yeah?
Sorry, before we go on, we can't forget about Gollum.
We did. Go ahead.
No,
We
you
did
were gonna
mention
say
him.
something. You were going to say
It's not a sparrow, it's a thrush.
I stand corrected.
Oh, look at that.
That makes perfect sense to me then. Never mind. I would draw the entire argument.
I thought so.
sounds that it's a thrush.
I know what I'm licked.
Scott always knows.
So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that Gollum scene. I like hearing that it was shot all in one. That was pretty neat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one straight shot. The whole Gollum scene, like 12 minutes or whatever it was, or maybe more.
The weird thing about Gollum in The Hobbit is kind of like with Gandalf. Gollum looked, probably because of the minute advancement of 12 years of CGI advancement, I should say. Gollum looked younger. Actually, wait. I'm stupid.
Well, he's supposed to be younger.
Yeah, I'm stupid. Never mind.
And the hobbits were so short. What's up with that? Couldn't they fix that somewhere in there?
I don't know. Why are they barefoot? Can't they wear anything?
Gandalf had the whole beard thing going on, too. But doesn't he shave?
Yeah, couldn't
He
they
should
cut
totally
the hair on
shave.
top of the hobbit's feet?
Oh, speaking of wizards, you mentioned the costume for
Radagast the Brown. To be honest, I think that was going a little too far. His costume was okay, but I think I don't remember how eccentric Radagast was supposed to be, but the costume, if I think about it, was just a little bit for me.
Was it the bird poop that got you, Weston?
Thank you.
I don't remember that.
That was bad. That was just like a sexual innuendo and bird poop.
I was like, what's that on the side of That's bird shit. That's bird shit on the side of his head. There's no other excuse for that.
Oh, yeah. That was weird. That was creepy and gross.
And then later when Saruman's talking about him, said, and I cannot abide his obsession with mushrooms.
That was that was one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
It is.
Like,
what did he say? It's rotted his mind and yellowed his teeth.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus, Saruman's really picky, you know?
I like the scene when Radagast takes a hit.
Yeah.
He gets
No. Yeah,
He totally takes a hit, and he's like, "Oh, that's so good."
Yeah.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I cannot abide any scene that has smoke coming out of a character's ears.
Yeah, true.
Can't do it. I did like the whole scene at Rivendell with the wizards, where Saruman's very casually like, I don't know anything about any evil floating around here. I don't.
Yeah.
That's quite silly. It's like, is anybody?
He's basically a Scooby-Doo villain.
He was much more sly in the Fellowship. It's like Christopher Lee can't even like swing it anymore. It's like, no, there's no evil here. It's like,
Oh,
The only way you can defeat evil is with great power.
Yeah, young Skywalker from the third film was more like believable.
Oh, also that whole scene at Rivendell, I just wanted to say, Galadriel, she was good again in this, but I felt the whole her introduction was a little bit over the top and dramatic.
Well, there was all that sexual tension. It's like, if you want, I'll come. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Gandalf does
like-
the pointy hat trick.
If you need me, I'll come.
My,
And Gandalf is like, oh, shit.
my staff is at your command, lady.
And I was just saying, it's like, he's going to give her wizard staff. He's totally
Oh,
going to
God.
give it to her.
Let's not go there.
Anyway.
There are probably children who listen to this, guys.
I don't.
Jesus.
I really hope not. We have an explicit rating on iTunes, so.
Yeah, no. If they're still tuning in after the rape episode, they're not kids anymore.
Okay.
Nope. No, we're their fathers now.
Yeah. I did like the part where they give the map to Elrond, Mr. Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Mr.
Wes Anderson?
Wes.
Don't even start.
Because they hand on the map, but I'm just waiting for the guys. You're right here. There's an arrow. There's a hand pointing to it. What the fuck's wrong with you people? You guys can't read a map? What's this?
Yeah. You are here.
Rather than that whole by the light of the silvery moon deal.
That was, I don't know if that was in the book, but that was like, really, come on. Does that have to be that
No, it's in the book.
It's
I believe it is in the book.
It really?
It's not that long. It's not that long. They just hand him a map, and he's like, yeah, right here, bitches. And then that's it. The scene's over.
In the book, he says, look, there's a hologram. It's right here in the corner. Just hold it up to the light. You're good.
Yeah, it might as well have just been you have to read this map on a blue moon while riding a unicycle while playing the violin upside down.
And then I think he says, you know what I really hate? The smell. the smell, Mr.
You didn't like the smell of the movie?
I was doing a Matrix line, but that's okay. Before your time.
Wait, did you Moviesucktastic guys, did you go see Spy Kids 4 with the 4D where there was not only is it three-dimensional but smells are involved in the theater?
Oh my god, what?
We did not catch that, no.
Me neither.
And how do they recreate that at home?
I think you walk into the theater and you got a little scratchy card, and every scene it tells you which one to scratch off, and then you take a whiff of it.
You're kidding.
No, well, John Waters did that back in the 70s, but he had nasty smells like feet and dog shit and stuff like that.
Super.
They just didn't do that with the kids. They had to make it like cotton candy or something. Oh, what else? There was something else about the movie. Well, I mean, so yeah, when I talked to Joey the other day, I was like, listen, I don't think I'm gonna like the film. And then I watched the first half hour, 45 minutes, and it was really bothering me. But overall, I gotta say, I really enjoyed watching the young Bilbo Baggins, played by not Ian McKellen, by
Neil
Freeman.
I have his
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman, who is from
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yep.
And BBC Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Yep. Sherlock.
Watson.
I much more enjoyed watching him like be annoyed and walk around with the dwarves and having fun adventure fighting than watching Elijah Wood walk around looking pained and scared in each scene, like he's afraid that Peter Jackson is going to ass rape him after they yells cut. It's just that the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, he looks like Shelley Duvall from The Shining, just like on the verge of just breaking down. It's nice to have a lead hero that's not that sad and pathetic.
That was the whole pressure of bearing the One Ring thing, though.
No, I get that, but it's still just refreshing to have somebody who's not like that for 3 films.
Yeah.
It kind of wears thin after the 8th hour.
Bilbo was fun. I thought the Freeman guy did great too.
Oh, he's excellent.
Yeah. He was awesome. He was fantastic. Great addition to the film.
Mm-hmm. I've been a fan of his ever since Love Actually. I think it's the first thing I saw him in.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, good for you.
I liked Love Actually. Screw you guys.
That's all right. Valentine's Day's coming up. You can love it again.
There you go.
All right. So, are we going to rate this on IMDb?
Well, do we have anything else from you guys? You got anything else to add to the film about the review?
Another perk for Freeman. His first scene was that 12-minute take with Gollum. That was the first thing he did as Bilbo. Which was
when they started filming? That's cool.
Yeah, it was the first thing they did.
Wow.
Mad props.
Yeah, two great actors there working off each other.
Visually,
one thing I do want to mention.
Hold on, you're cutting off Tyler there.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I thought the movie was visually wonderful. Maybe some of the CGI rabbits were a little annoying, but
any CGI animal was bad.
Yeah. I thought the whole thing was like balanced well with like the magical mixed with the human actors. Like it just had a general balanced tone to it. The trees were as magical as the costume stuff like that.
Did anybody see it in 48 frames per second?
No, I don't. I think I saw a normal version because my eyes weren't burning or anything.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you see it in 3D then?
3D IMAX.
3D IMAX? Then you saw it in 48
I just saw
frames.
a standard version at the cinema in Hackettstown.
Okay. And Tyler, you saw it in IMAX, so you saw it in 48 frames per second. What did you think of that, or did you not notice?
I think 3D IMAX was not in 48 frames a second.
It wasn't. Oh, okay. So you saw the standard 24 frames. Fine.
Yep.
So, the 48 frames per. What?
Could they do 48 frames per second in 3D?
I don't think so.
I don't think they had the 3D for the 48 frames. I could be wrong.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought they did.
I think they had like 4 versions or something.
Maybe they did.
And if the idea of a 3D 48 frames per second movie sounds like it would burn my eyes out.
Well, I mean, just Scott and I, we turned on the 3D for Batman Arkham City, and after 10 minutes, our eyes were on fire.
Yeah.
As cool as it was playing a game in 3D, you can't do it. You cannot do it for more than maybe half an hour at best before your eyes start going nuts.
No, they did have it 48 frames per second in 3D. I was wrong.
And I would imagine the IMAX theater was showing it that way.
I think that might be the thing. I don't know if IMAX might not be 48 frames.
That might actually the size, maybe.
Fine. So, okay, fine.
We don't know.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense because I think if you saw it in 48 frames, you would have noticed it because everyone says that they absolutely notice if the film is in 48 frames. It just looks off.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They said it. Look, from what I heard, people said it looks like they were going behind the scenes. Like you could tell it was a set, basically.
Daytime soap opera is the most commonly used term for it. And anyone that has a television that has the newer fast motion or live motion or whatever they're calling it these days, by default it's always turned on the television, and when you watch TV or movies or whatever, you can tell everything just seems like it's moving a little bit faster. And according to people like Peter Jackson and James Cameron, you will get used to it, but you absolutely do not.
You're just not used to seeing things that real.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. I could just walk out my fucking front door.
Yeah. How many frames per second is Scott's bandwidth?
That's right.
3.5.
Not that many.
How many frames per second is Scott's patience with Peter Jackson movies?
Probably more with this iteration. I would think after this, when Peter Jackson decides to stay in epic mode, and he goes and he makes whatever his next film that should be an hour and a half into 3 hours, I think Scott will get pissed off all over again.
If he could just snap out of epic mode and just make a real film again, just a regular film again, I'd be fine. King Kong should not have been a 3-hour epic. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely not. That could have absolutely been done in 2, maybe even a little less, and it would have been fine.
For more details on my view of King Kong, get Monster Rally, available on Amazon.
All right, so let's. You want to go ahead and rate this, Scott?
Well, let's let Tyler and Wes Anderson rate it for us.
Okay.
What is it?
What we do is hold on. Yeah, what we're doing is we're actually going on IMDb and we're doing the official Moviesucktastic rating for it. Currently, it has an IMDb
somebody's
rating.
bandwidth is going nuts.
What?
I said somebody's bandwidth is going nuts. The amount of echoing is just ridiculous.
Probably me.
Maybe
me.
No, it's me. I have shitty ass Verizon.
It's not you.
I think
it's always Scott.
Joey, you take over since I'm probably echoing.
All right. On IMDb, the current rating is 8.3. We always start at that, and we always try and find ways to either bring the score down or bring the score up. So we always have pros and cons and whatnot, and then we end up with a final score. So right now it's at 8.3. Is there any reason why anyone could think to bring it down a point?
Goblin scrotum.
I don't think so.
No, I'm sorry, that would take it up. Sorry.
Personally, I would drop it a point just for how bad the CGI looks on all the animals. But with that said, there are plenty of more things that I could say to bring the score back up, such as even though the pale orc was not in a lot of the book, I thought he was badass enough to bring up the film a point just for that. Just because of the fact that overall I did enjoy it. There was more that I liked than disliked. Personally, I have no problem keeping it at 8.
Yeah, I think an 8.3 is pretty fair as it is right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm liking that score. It's tough to. I can't bring it down, but I can't put it anywhere near 9 either.
No, it would start heading into like Godfather and Shawshank Redemption territory if it was at 9.
Godfather, really?
Fucking A right, The Godfather. Get some culture.
All right, yeah, deal with that.
You call yourself a film buff and you don't like either one of the Godfather films.
That's right.
Scott doesn't even know who Wes Anderson is.
That's right.
He knows the Wes Anderson being the yours truly Wes Anderson.
That's
right.
the only one I need to know.
So your take, Scott?
I'm fine with an 8. The only other question I have, real quick, is just, do they find Snow White in the second one or not?
That's to be determined.
Okay.
That'll be another like weird side plot like Azog.
Just
All
might
right.
be.
8 it is. Locking that in, Moviesucktastic rating. So we're good.
Very nice.
All right. I
like
agree.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm surprised I didn't hate this as much as I was hoping for. So, not bad.
Hoping to hate it.
See, Scott, you can like things.
I'm trying, Wes. I'm trying.
It almost sounded like you said that you're trying less, but I know you said less.
Yeah, I thought it was that too at first.
Maybe it was.
Maybe it was. Have to go back and listen. All right. Are you guys going to stick around for the nominations, or are you guys out?
I think I'm going to head out, actually.
Okay. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think I'm going to listen in on the outskirts. I didn't do much research on that anyway. I'll let you guys take that.
Cool.
All right.
Guys, I appreciate you coming in to do a guest review. We're always trying to mix it up a little bit and bring in guest reviewers. If you see anything else in the future, or if you have any recommendations for bad movies, definitely let us know, and we'll do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. This is my first podcast. I had a lot of fun.
Yep, this is my first podcast too. It was nice chatting with you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Tyler, back me up at this too. I keep trying to talk Wes and young Jack from our writers group. I'm trying to talk them into doing their own podcast where they get together to talk about writing, and every podcast they spend an hour talking about everything but writing.
Oh my god, it'd be so good.
See, I'm telling you, perfect. We got to get on their case. They got to start doing this.
We gotta get Jack in that character, that English character that he was doing in poetry class, though. That's just a brilliant character.
We're getting to territory that listeners don't have no idea what we're talking about.
That's not unusual.
It's right on the money.
Yeah, but guys, again, thanks for joining and helping out, and Tyler, I'm sorry, and we'll definitely talk to you again. Okay?
Yeah, screw you, Scott. Yeah, Joey, it was really nice to meet you, man.
Right.
You too.
Nice
You too.
meeting
You got it, guys. All right.
Thanks.
Good talking with you.
Yep. See ya.
Take it easy.
How do
All
I
right,
get out?
I you know what? I'll kill your connection for you. How's
Turn
that?
off your computer. That's how you get out.
There's a little red phone you can click.
I tell you, Tyler is. I'm working with him again. He's my co-editor on this season's.
Oh shit! I killed the whole connection. Whoops. All right, let's call Scott back. Sorry about that. I clicked on Tyler's name and clicked the little red phone, and it killed the whole conference call because you were all in it together.
Well, that's cool. I brought my video back, so that works.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry
again,
about that.
Tyler, great guy. He's my co-editor on the.
They were a lot of fun.
On the literary magazine this go round, and when I realized that he thought I was serious about having Wes Anderson on, I was devastated. It's like, oh, he's gonna hate me.
Let's be honest, you weren't that devastated.
No, I was. I didn't mean. I wasn't actually trying to. He was calling people. He was calling friends like across the country. I'm gonna be talking to Wes Anderson on the podcast. It's like, oh, fuck.
And you know what? Technically, he wasn't lying.
That's my point. I did.
I know. I listen. I know you. That's how I know it's. That's your point. They don't know you long enough. They will, though.
He literally was. Yeah, I'll be able to laugh about this later.
Later.
I'm a
me.
dick. I'm such a dick.
You know what? I tell you, when you tried it with me a month ago, and I'm like, yeah, there's just something about that I know is wrong. It's definitely wrong, especially because I think Wes, he just liked our Moviesucktastic page on Facebook. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that guy. There's that guy.
Again, I can't. Anyway, speaking of disappointment, the Oscar nominations are out this year.
Well, they're out every year. They were out today.
But they're out this year.
How do you want it? They're out every year.
They weren't out a week ago this year, so now they're out this year. The nominations are out this year.
Splitting hairs. Yeah, splitting hairs.
Oscar noms are out.
How do you want to tackle the list? Do you want to start at the best picture, best director? Do you want to only do best picture? What do you want to do?
Need a match. Hold on, I gotta fix my Metaluna monster. God damn it, the legs like.
I was done playing with that thing the second it knocked over on me when I was at doing your setup.
Yeah, well,
how was your setup, by the way?
It's just like to be like the human.
How was your setup, by the way? Your 3-monitor setup.
Oh, dude, it's I fucking like get a hard on every time I turn on my system. It's beautiful. It makes work so much easier. And again, I mean, if I'm right now, I'm being lit right now by nothing except my monitors. That's why I look so blotchy. If I turn off my second and third monitor, I'm probably gonna have to start wearing sunglasses at work because of the blinding constant stream. I really look blotchy. I think I need to get out in the sun more. Is what it is.
It might be. Might be.
Too much. Anyway, the Oscars,
anyway,
let's go over like the best picture, then we can jump around a bit.
Okay. All right. Starting off with the best pictures, or the best picture nominations. There's 9 of them this year. There's not 10. There hasn't been 10 since the first year they did it, which was 2009. Avatar. That year they did 10. And they haven't had 10 since. But anyway, there's a film called Amour. And I know nothing about this film, other than the fact that it's a foreign film, right?
Joey, you know nothing of Amour.
I do nothing of Amore.
You know nothing of Amour.
I know nothing of it.
Beware of the Amours.
Yeah.
Here's
the Moors conquered Sicily.
What?
I said the Moors conquered Sicily. Never mind.
Here's the synopsis on IMDb. George and Anne, and it's George with an S at the end, so it's confusing. George and Anne are in their 80s. They are cultivated, retired music teachers. Their daughter, who is also a musician, lives. This is like one of those synopses that like 5 fucking pages long.
Yeah, it's
just
it's a fucking indie movie.
Yeah, Anne and George have a daughter, and she has an attack, and the couple's bond of love is severely tested. It's indie French film.
The director looks like Christopher Lee 25 years ago.
And I don't mean the film's actually in French. I just mean it's like that kind of film.
Isn't the director French?
He's
German.
I don't know.
He's from Bavaria. Bavarian donut.
Oh no, it's French. Yeah, it is French. Sorry. The name's Amour. Yeah, it's French.
Well, I mean, is it in French or does it just have French actors? Oh, it is? Okay.
At least I think it is.
Was it also nominated for Best Foreign Film too, or they don't do that anymore?
Yes, it is. Best foreign language film. Yes.
Fucking hell! So it could win
Austria,
both.
This is Austria though, which that's near France, right? It was released in France. I guess Austria's not big on the movie scene.
I should know that. But
Austria, that's where kangaroos come from.
Although this Kon-Tiki, the picture that they had of it makes it look like this 300-esque epic, and it's probably not going to be anything like that.
Oh no!
Have you seen you seen the picture for Kon-Tiki?
No, I have not.
From Norway. Yeah,
I'll look it up.
The picture looks amazing. It's like, wow, that movie's going to look like it's going to be fucking awesome. Well, it's not going to be anywhere near as good as what the picture they're showing is going to make the film.
It looks like 300 without the CGI. That's what it looks like.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, it just looks like it's like, wow, it's going to be great, and it's not.
Hey, maybe a 300 without CGI would be good. Why don't you read off the best picture films?
Okay. Best pictures are, well, we just did a more, and Argo by one of the best working directors today, Ben Affleck.
One of.
One of. Not the best. Not like Scott likes to think that I say. Beast of the Southern Wild. No. Hey, don't make me pull the audio. Don't make me lay that down. Beast of the Southern Wild, which is, that girl's like 8, 9 years old. She's nominated for Best Actress.
Oh, we have to do that again this year.
Yeah.
We always, every 2 years, we have to nominate like a 10-year-old for Best Actor, which is...
Can't even pronounce her name.
Which is ludicrous in every sense of the fucking... There are actors who spend like decades upon decades fine-tuning, honing the craft, and then some 10-year-old comes out and makes cute faces at the screen like, oh, she's a natural, best. It's like a feel-good, cutesy bullshit promotional thing. It's, I hate it every time they do it. Dakota Fanning did it, right? Dakota Fanning, right? Am I wrong?
It wasn't Dakota Fanning. It was
somebody else.
Fuck, the girl from True Blood, and
it's never best supporting.
She was in X-Men, but she actually won for the piano. What the fuck was her name? I don't remember her name. I can't even pronounce her name. It's Quevin Zane or Quevin Zahani.
That's because she's not from around here.
But her last name's Wallace. It's like Quevin Zambal Wallace.
Oh, this is a liberal Hollywood film.
Oh, is it?
Well, faced with both her hot-tempered father's fading health and melting ice caps that flood her ramshackle bayou community. so it's about lack of health care and about global warming. There you go, double threat.
There you go. Moving on is The Life of Pi, directed by Ang Lee.
Hang on. I just got to back up. Her character's name in the film is Hush Puppy.
Super. Hush Puppy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's based on a stage play. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, anyway, Life of Pi, and I know the book is revered as one of the best written novels in the last, 2 decades, 3 decades, whatever the fuck it was written. It's an Indian guy on a boat with a tiger. Okay? And he ends up in some weather. That
sounds like something you order off a menu in like a cat house.
Right. And it's just 2 hours. Yeah, it's 2 hours of that. I'm sorry. Did I ruin your potential joke?
Yeah, you ruined my potential joke. Go ahead.
Because I was still talking when you tried to do it.
No, there was a nice pause, and then I got
a nice pause.
Of it in.
Do I need? Yeah. Okay. I think races are decided with the amount of pause I had there.
And I was in there, and then you cut me off. All right.
Is that what it was? Anyway, Life of Pi, directed by Ang Lee. It's just another artsy-fartsy type film, and of course the Academy is just creaming all over it. And, for all I know, it's good. But I had zero interest in seeing it when I saw the trailer.
All I was going to say was Indian and a tiger on a lifeboat sounds like a sexual combo you'd buy from a prostitute. That's all I was going to say.
Avast virus database has been
updated. Thank you, Avast. You're the
welcome.
Best. Fuck.
What?
No, my Avast just decided to tell everyone it's
You're
updated.
You're not even listening to me.
Virus definitions. Of course I'm listening to you.
You just mute me until my mouth stops moving on the screen. I know that.
You said that last week.
And it was just as true then. What
I
else?
Remember.
What else
I remember. Lincoln, which has the most nominations this year with 12. Silver Linings Playbook, directed by I think his name is Jerry O. Russell or Ken O. Russell.
Fucking romantic comedy, right?
It's a romantic comedy with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
Okay.
Don't tell Mom!
Yeah.
Jesus.
Don't tell Mom! Don't tell Mom!
You know what I hate? You know what I hate about the internet today? Very quickly, is if you click on something, you can't fucking stop the commercial that it forces you to listen to. You can't mute it. You can't pause it. Can't do any of that shit.
That's what you get for clicking on things.
I wanted more information.
I'm pretty much done with Bradley Cooper. He was great in
Hangover.
The Hangover, and that was it. I'm done.
I like him still.
Yeah.
Did your Avast just update too? I just heard it.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, that's funny. It's just
Goddamn.
ironic that they sent the update out at the same time, and everyone that has it just got it now at the same exact time too.
And what else? What else we got?
Moving on is Zero Dark 30, which is about the killing of Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, great.
You got Les Miserables, Les Miserables, and lastly, and I haven't seen it, and I already know I want it to win Best Picture, is Django Unchained, which I already know will not win Best Picture because Quentin Tarantino was not nominated for Best Director.
And
that's usually
that's just what's happened in the past. It's not a rule. He can still win. I'm not saying he will, but that doesn't exclude him.
I think it does. I think it's a telltale sign of.
It's a sign, but it's not a rule.
Usually, even if the film wins and the director doesn't, the director's still nominated.
No, usually, right, but he still can win.
Of course he can still win.
It's just not probable.
It is very improbable. But
right. Now, I was lucky enough to see Django Unchained last weekend.
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm dying to.
It's fucking awesome. It's just great. Great. It does not feel like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Really?
It does not feel like it at all.
So I think I heard somewhere, as a matter of fact, I did hear it somewhere, Quentin Tarantino was recently on Howard Stern talking about how he wants to do 10 films and then quit. He wants to quit after 10. I don't know if he'll stick to that, but he's just saying that he doesn't want to keep doing film if he doesn't feel he can do it to the excellence that he feels he's pushing out right now.
I'm so fucking tired of these filmmakers who feel the need to talk about how much they're not going to do.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Smith's like, I'm going to end my career after the next film, and then Tarantino's, I don't want to do more than this. Tell you what, stop talking about what you're not going to fucking do, and just do. Just do, because I don't give a shit. Don't tell me how your career is going to end. Just fucking do it, and we'll decide how your career ends for you.
I agree with that.
I love Tarantino, but every movie he says something that pisses me off. With Inglourious Bastards, it was the I can't explain why I spelled bastard with an E. You don't question like the flourish of an artist. It's like, no, you don't, because it was just for marketing reasons, you fucking ass. Why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about that?
Why would he tell the truth though?
Because it's the truth, and it's fucking blatantly obvious. So why would you just say, well, it's because they wouldn't advertise in these, the Midwest if we had bastards in the title, so we had to misspell it purposely. Just say it. And then this one, he comes out and does...
I will say this, though. I will say this about that. Even when it was announced on HSX, it was spelled incorrectly, even when it was a concept. Not that that has any bearing on it at all, but it did get misspelled even as back as 6-7 years ago.
That's still the reason, as far as give me a different reason and I'll say, okay, I was wrong, but that's the reason. And then for this one, it's like, well, I don't want to call it a Western because it takes place like in the South, so I want to call it a Southern. It says, dude, it's a fucking Western. It's a fucking Western. How many Westerns took place in Texas? Oh, quite a few. What the fuck? I mean, it's like he doesn't want to be. He's trying to define himself. So no, you don't define yourself. You made a fucking Western. Stop trying to be more original than you already are. I hate that because I like him too, and I like what he does. But he always says one thing that's just like, well, why'd you have to do that? Now you're a dick.
Maybe you should try and get him on the show after successfully getting Wes Anderson.
I don't know anybody who's named Tarantino.
I know a few Tarantinos, but no Quentins.
Exactly. It's a much less common name.
It is much less common.
I was lucky enough to have a class with a Wes Anderson. Hell, I mean...
Yeah, that's true, too.
Why you have to jump on that when that happens,
You do. You definitely do. Should we move on to the Best Actor category? Just blow that out of the water real quick.
Well, first, how many films on the Best Picture list have you seen?
Let's see. I have seen a grand total of 0.
Okay, I'm ahead by 1.
You've seen Django.
Right.
I will be seeing Django in the very near future. I will be seeing Zero Dark 30, Silver Linings Playbook, Lincoln, and Argo, and Life of Pi. I should be able to see all of those because I have some free time coming to me. I should be able to get to them.
Well, we usually try to watch as many Oscar films as possible before our big Oscar special.
Well, I know those are in my immediate future.
Okay, I'm just saying. That's what we usually try to do, so hopefully we'll both see all 9 of these.
That is the plan.
Yeah,
because we usually tend to do a broadcast from either my house or your house. We all know how last year's went.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You sure do.
I really don't.
Yeah, you might not remember much actually. I have
Are you
video
posting
I
that
could
video
show
at
you.
any point?
When I have some time, I did intend on.
I don't think you should,
something.
but whenever you do.
Okay. You gave me the okay, so.
And anybody listening, if you didn't listen to our last Oscar special, you're not missing anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you don't want to listen to the last 20 minutes of that show.
There will be no drinking at this Oscar special. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I still have the chocolate whipped vodka from last year.
I don't even mention. No.
I can't smell it. I can't smell it anymore.
Leading actor.
Best actor.
Yes.
Bradley Cooper for Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln. Hugh Jackman for Les Miserables, which I think is going to be our winner this year.
Probably, yeah. I just fucking.
Joaquin Phoenix for The Master.
Which I'm interested in seeing, definitely.
I definitely want to see that. And Denzel Washington for Flight.
Nope.
I think it comes down to Daniel Day-Lewis and Hugh Jackman, and I think Hugh Jackman's got it.
I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between Les Mis and Lincoln on whether we're going to go Frenchy classic or American history.
Are you talking about Best Picture?
Yeah, but for both, I think.
Well,
I think it's.
I think Best Picture. I think Best Picture goes Life of Pi, Les Miserables, or Amour. I think those are the three. I think it's
culture.
And I think I'm going to lean towards Les Miserables. I think Hollywood wants to go in that direction this year.
I think it's an even tie between Les Mis and Lincoln. Yeah, that's me. Okay. Supporting actor. I don't know. Supporting actor is always just so like.
Supporting actor. You got Alan Arkin from Argo.
It's always just the guys that didn't make it into lead actor. That's all.
Robert De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook, which I think this is the first time De Niro's been nominated in probably 15 years.
Well,
maybe even longer. Well, of course. Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Master, Tommy Lee Jones in Lincoln, and Christoph Waltz in Django Unchained.
He's fucking great.
And you know what? I would see no problem with giving him another Oscar, but I just get the feeling that Hollywood they don't like doing that. They just don't like
politics.
doing it.
Yeah, it's all
It
politics.
really does feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
Actress in a leading role, you have Jessica Chastain in Zero Dark 30, Jennifer Lawrence in Silver Linings Playbook, Emmanuel Riva from Amour, Quev Wallace from Beasts of Southern Wild, and
it's pronounced
Watts
never mind.
Whatever. Naomi Watts for The Impossible. Jennifer Lawrence, she has, such nice eyes. Exactly. And that's what I mean too, by the way.
I know.
No, she's a pretty face. She's very curvy. Seeing her in the Hunger Games, I just don't see her getting an Oscar nomination for this film. Now, when she did Winter's Bone, totally different story. Performance was out of this world. And for all I know, she does it again in this, but this is just a romantic comedy. I just don't see it standing out.
Is this sexist of me to say that I don't give a shit about the actress nominees at all?
It could be.
Okay. I mean...
It could be.
I'm not trying to be, but I honestly...
It's only sexist if you care about the men's categories.
I care a little bit more about the men's categories.
Then it's sexist.
Like... I don't know why. It just never... I always gloss over the actress categories. I don't know.
Right. Actress in a supporting role is Amy Adams for The Master, Sally Field for Lincoln, Anne Hathaway for Les Mis, Helen Hunt for The Sessions, Jackie Weaver for Silver Linings Playbook. And again, I think you're looking at Anne Hathaway for Les Mis. She didn't have to show her boobs this year to get nominated.
Right. Can we skip over to screenplays?
If you want. I was going to do animated film.
No, skip that because it's all shit. Go to screenplay.
Well, I was just going to go with Frankenweenie is going to be the winner this year. I'm calling it now. Just because it's Tim Burton because it's Tim Burton and nothing else. They just love Tim Burton. So,
but Frankenweenie and Paranorman are almost interchangeable. Really,
almost. But Tim Burton didn't do Paranorman, so there you go.
Well, maybe they'll give it to them because he did.
Maybe not. What do you want to do?
The screenplay categories, original and the adaptation.
I thought you said you didn't want to do them.
No, I said I do. I want to go over to screenplay ones. They're my favorite categories.
And that's why I thought when you said you didn't, I'm like, that sounds kind of weird.
No,
why doesn't he want to do
I said, can we go to those now?
All right, let's go. Adapted screenplay, original screenplay. What do you want to do first?
Oh, just it doesn't matter.
Okay, original screenplay is Amour, written by Michael Haneke, or whatever his name is. He's the director. Django Unchained by Quentin Tarantino. Flight by John Gaddens. Moonrise Kingdom by Wes Anderson. We just had him on. And Zero Dark 30 by Mark Bowl.
I'm going to make an early prediction and say Moonrise Kingdom. I think the only reason Django Unchained isn't going to get it because they say nigger too much.
Yeah, and maybe, yeah. And I think that's a bullshit excuse.
Oh, no, I agree, but that's still the way it's going to fly. And I don't think Zero Dark 30 is going to get that because it might get more further up. So I got a feeling that Moonrise might get it just because they still like Wes Anderson.
I think you're right, but I think if there is any competition between that, it's going to be that and Django. Just because Quentin Tarantino, he's always in the mix.
Yeah,
for that.
But I just think he's in a long shot with this one because of the controversy around it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think when he was asked about not winning Best Picture for Inglourious Bastards, he said he was less mad about not winning Best Picture than he was that he didn't get original screenplay.
Oh, as he should. That was a fucking brilliant screenplay. I know.
Yes, it was.
And it was a brilliant direct. That film was just fucking brilliant. Sorry.
Yes, it was. Best or writing adapted screenplay is Argo by Chris Terrio. Beast of the Southern Wild by Lucy Alabar and Bain Zeitlin. Life of Pi by David McGee. Lincoln by Tony Kushner. And Silver Linings Playbook by David O. Russell, who's also the director.
I think
Life of Pi or Lincoln. It's going to be one of those two.
I think it's a toss-up, but I think it leans a bit more towards Life of Pi with you, just because.
I think so. Just because the book is so revered.
Yeah.
It's just one of those books that it's one of those one of those books that kids are made to read now, whereas when we were young, we were made to read.
Can kids read that?
I believe so.
Really?
Maybe not. Maybe middle schoolers and high schoolers. But when we were going to school, it was Bless the Beast and the Children. We were forced to read.
Awesome book.
It was very good.
I have the
we
movie.
were forced to read things like that. You know what? We were made to read the book and then we watched the film.
Why would you do that as an English teacher?
Two different experiences.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
Why would you do that? I don't.
I don't know. Maybe, and from what I remember, the teacher liked both. Of course, they liked the book better, which was the right choice. But maybe they just wanted to kill a couple of days in class.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's probably it. The long haul.
I don't know. But we read the book and then we watched the movie.
What other categories are you interested in?
Well, you know what? During our earlier when I talked about The Hobbit not getting nominated for anything, that's not true. It was nominated for visual effects. I'm looking at it now. Which
and makeup
it'll probably win for that. I definitely see it winning for that.
Or for visual effects?
Yeah. I mean, it's either that or the Avengers.
I was about to say either that, Avengers, maybe even Prometheus, but
I don't know. They look too gummy.
yeah, but
aliens
we're
in
biased
that.
too because we hated the film as a whole. I mean,
Yeah.
let's be fair.
Let's see. What other categories can we talk about here?
I mean, until we see more of these films, not
like
much.
like the documentaries and short films and all that. We'd just be reading off names.
I agree.
You know.
Stop yawning over there. And the other animated features we mentioned, Frankenweenie and Paranorman, and then there's Brave, the Pirates, and Wreck-It Ralph. Just really subpar selection all around. It was really a weak year for animation.
Well, it just seems every category gets weaker every year.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of good films this year as opposed to, well, look at it this way. When they pulled the whole, now we're going to have 10 best pictures instead of 5.
Right.
I mean, they filled it with a lot of shit just because they had to. At least, I mean, Argo, Les Mis, whether or not we enjoy it as film goers, I'm sure it's very well done from what I've heard. Lincoln, Django. I mean, I would say there's a lot of good films out this year, but I'm just, for animated feature, literally, it's just like
Well, I will say this on the list. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 movies that I probably wouldn't go out of my way to see, and that's Les Mis, Life of Pi, Amour, and Silver Linings Playbook. Or I'm sorry, Beasts of the Southern Wild. I probably would not go out of my way to see any of those. But with that said, Les Mis looks interesting enough for me to see it. Life of Pi, because I know I want to hate it, so that's why I will see it. And Amour, really, I'm gonna force myself to watch that because I really don't give a flying fuck about watching that film. And,
why not?
And the same goes for Beasts of the Southern Wild. Just do not care one iota about seeing either one of those.
I think you're closing yourself off too soon to what could be very good films. I think you're.
Oh, I'm just no. What I'm saying is, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't go out of my way to see either one. They just don't look appealing to me at all. But because they're nominated, I will.
In that case, I mean, let's put it this way. At least this isn't like the year where we had to watch The Blind Side.
Oh yeah.
And that one the one film where that memoir where she marries the guy and doesn't have sex with him and somehow she's like the victim.
Oh, that was
that piece of shit.
Oh, what was that was called? That was out the same year.
Yeah, it was the same year. Yeah, I mean, there have been worse years where we've had to watch a lot of just crap. And I don't think this is one of those years. Like for myself, Zero Dark 30, no interest, not into that kind of film, don't like it. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be a subpar film. It's just not going to be my style.
Right.
I think Blindside honestly was an overrated piece of crap. That's just I just.
No, really I agree.
Yeah. People just read into it what they wanted to, and they didn't really actually just.
An education. It was called an education.
An education, right? It was an education on how to blame everything in your life on everybody else and try to be the victim when you come ahead in the end. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. It takes a really strong person to write a memoir where you are like on top in every situation, and where everything turns out right for you at the end, and and none of it's your fault. It takes a really strong person to write a memoir like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think that's it for the noms, unless you have something else you're interested in talking about.
Documentary short. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Maggie Simpson is an animated short film.
She is?
There's a Simpsons cartoon in animated short film. That's enough for that category. I'm done there.
Oh
that's like when they bring in professional sports figures into the Olympics for basketball. That's what that is right there. That just seems like unfair. Yeah. No, I think that's it. Until we see more of these, it's going to be a race to see them, though, and the bet is on between you and I on who can watch more of these.
Well,
I have
usually you watch more than I do.
Not usually. Sometimes we come neck and neck.
I think I've only watched every single one of the years. And that's only when they went to the 10 film format. When they were at 5, I had zero problem watching all 5. I can get 5 in.
There's that one year I couldn't even get 5 in. It's like, I think it was the year that Ray Charles, that Ray was up. I was like, I can't even, I don't want to sit through this. I think that year I watched like 2 of them. I couldn't even bring myself to watch everything else. It was just
right.
But no, I until we see more of these, we'll be reviewing these Oscar films in weeks to come. Coming up to Oscars, we're going to try to review as many of them as possible here and on the website. We're catching up on that. But up until then, though, I think that's it for this episode. Don't you agree, sir?
I think so. I do.
We need to jump into our Strangers real quickly. We got some fun stuff to go over there. If you're not listening to Strangers in a Strange Land and you're listening to this show, then you're only catching half the fun. Check us out, Strangers in a Strange Land, on iTunes. If you do that search, all you'll get is our podcast, a couple of religious things, and the Heinlein book on audio. So it's really easy to catch. Other than that,
that's right.
Joey will take it over as far as where else you can find us.
All right, you guys can download all of these episodes at our website at Moviesucktastic.com. You can listen to them there as well. You can also watch the live feed for live stream from the site. Or you can go to livestream.com/Moviesucktastic every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. You can also go to iTunes and review all of our episodes there, or download them and listen to them as well. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can leave us email at themovieguys@Moviesucktastic.com. You look like you're having a little trouble over there.
I gotta pee.
Oh, man. I need a refill on my drink.
My words of wisdom for this episode are don't tell people you're going to have them talking with a famous person on your podcast, because it just destroys relationships and ruins lives.
They trusted you.
Such a dick. Horrible. And for all you people that tuned in actually wanting to listen to Wes Anderson, I'm sorry.
He's not, but he'll tell you that.
I'm sorry, but thank you for the bandwidth, and we hope you stick around, and so we can lie to you again in the future.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. See you later.